Being Isadora team. Our web series, Being Isadora, follows the crazy, awkward, beautiful life of 16-year-old Isadora as she explores her independence and learns what it's like to have friends by her side. It's the first web series to be released exclusively on Facebook, so it gives all of our users a really unique and personalized experience, and it also makes it super easy to talk about and share it right on Facebook. Toast Pop sent us a few questions about the series, and here's what the cast of Being Isadora had to say. What is the most fun thing about shooting Isadora thus far? What's fun is being able to express ourselves through this new form of entertainment. Being on the web and in a short form series, it's accessible, and that format is growing. In that format, we're breaking ground in a lot of new ways, and it's exciting to be doing something that we couldn't have even done just a few years ago. Are there any certain foods or drinks that the cast always likes to have around on set? If so, what kinds? Actually, a few of the cast members have food allergies to gluten, eggs, dairy, that sort of thing. So you'd think that it might pose a problem for us, but we actually get to eat a lot of really delicious food on set. Thai food, Chinese food, Greek food, that sort of stuff. And we also always have a ton of snacks, usually a lot of them from Trader Joe's. In Being Isadora, the Holga camera is heavily featured. What is it about that camera in particular that made it the camera of choice for the show? Holga camera takes the photographer back to the basics, to the bones of photography. It's for people that want to get really unique images with light leaks and soft focus, and the types of vignetting that you probably recognize from Instagram if you've ever used it.
It's cool to see them kind of step up to the plate even when something seems as impossible as losing a single camera in the city of Seattle, which is humongous, and even something like losing a camera, like the depth that the camera really represents.
It's just like, it's this connection to something that she's never really known before, you know, and the fact that it gets stolen from her is kind of, you know, something, it's kind of something that she doesn't cope with well.
I think the camera really helps to bring all the characters together. Seth, I mean, he can't just come right out and say how he feels or say why he did what he did, so he uses the camera to express those feelings.
Are there any interesting or funny behind the scenes stories that you have? We really have a lot of fun behind the scenes at Being Isadora. A lot of times we're getting through the process together, working through it like a little family. Since we've been working in the winter time recently, a lot of it's been about keeping warm. We have a lot of pictures on our Facebook page of everybody all bundled up, and you can't even tell in the show how cold it is outside, but that's been kind of a silly experience. A lot of times the cast will meet up after the shoot and, you know, go get dinner or things like that. So that's really cool that everybody has been sort of a part of each other's lives outside of the show even, so that's pretty cool.
I was actually already cast for Julie, and so the director actually called me in to work with the potential Isadoras, and so she was one of them, and we just worked together, and like we basically met. I came down the stairs and we met by doing the scene together. So I basically met Isadora before I met Marina.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
It was so funny because I remember Giselle from an audition we had a couple years ago when we had to be brother sister in some commercial audition, and I remember she was so nice, and she just flung her legs up over mine and started chatting like we were brother sister, and she was so into it. And I remember to this day thinking like, wow, this girl's like hardcore into this audition, and she was like, and we like both didn't get it, but it was such a fun memory. And then seeing her again, I was like, oh, you're that really nice girl from that audition.
If you could use one word to describe the show, what would it be? So I asked the actors that play Julie, Isadora, and Seth that question, and their answers were eccentric, charismatic, and thoughtful. And we wanted to ask the Toast Pop viewers if they can guess who said what, so let us know. Is there any inside info that you can give us about upcoming episodes of Being Isadora? The storyline of Being Isadora is a twofold. It's about Isadora's camera and her relationships and how the camera represents those relationships. Focus moves deeper around the girl, her confidence, her family and history, and how she learns independence, expression, and control in her own world. And you can see these things being alluded to in the future episodes of Being Isadora. So we don't want to give too much away, but that's what our director Jay had to share.
She doesn't really want to show that she does have a weak interior. She wants to kind of show everyone that she's, you know, tough and she can take care of herself. And, you know, when in reality, she kind of has moments where she doesn't really know what to do sometimes.
I really like that Julie is kind of sassy. She comes from a conventional family, but she really brings a little bit of a flavor that isn't quite evident totally initially, but once you get to know her, like, I think the subtle things that she does, maybe not so subtle all the time, but she'll bring just a kind of unique personality, a spirited personality.
I think the glasses help me get into the spirit of Seth and remind me about Seth's world and give me an insight to Seth.
The way our characters, both me and Isadora, started out, it's on a very realistic level. The way they're introduced, like, they don't start off empowered and ready to go, you know, get the world and do things. And you could see just the growth as they go through these obstacles, how they deal with them, and how they choose to deal with them really says a lot about their character.
From all of us at Being Isadora, that has been a Toast Pop exclusive.